All right, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be reacting to America Fest 2025. As you guys are already aware, this is an annual speaking conference, and all the major political commentators, all the major right-wing actors attend this conference every year, and they give big speeches. I think it takes place in Arizona, or at least I think it's taking place in Arizona this year, most likely to commemorate Charlie Kirk. But so far, the speakers, I believe, are Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, Michael Knowles, Erica Kirk, and Russell Brand. Now, what's going to be interesting is Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson are both going to be speaking at this particular event. And I'm not going to react to Russell Brand, or we might react to Erica Kirk just to meme on her a little bit, but we're not going to be reacting to Russell Brand. I really don't care what that guy has to say or what he thinks. He's not even from this country. But definitely we're going to listen to Michael Knowles, Erica Kirk, Ben Shapiro, and Tucker Carlson. And it should be interesting hearing what Ben Shapiro has to say and then hearing what Tucker Carlson has to say. That is going to be very, very interesting because Ben Shapiro is speaking first, Tucker Carlson is speaking second. So that's going to be interesting. Maybe he'll call him out. That might create a pretty interesting moment. But we'll see. So we're going to react to this. And let's just be real, a lot of this is for entertainment. It's, the bright lights and the big audience and, it's just all these major political right-wing activists come out and give these speeches and, everybody claps like seals. A lot of it is just a show, preaching to the choir. But, this year it should be interesting. It should be interesting. A lot has happened in right-wing politics this year. It has been a hell of a year with Fuentes and Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and the whole right-wing schism. So we're going to react to this, and we're going to start with Erica Kirk. It's going to be a little more lighthearted, and then we're going to move to Ben Shapiro's speech and then Michael Knowles and Tucker Carlson. But I'm going to be breaking it down. We'll do a little bit of memeing in the process. It's always fun to meme a little bit, That's one of the good things about being a YouTuber. It's like there's times when you got to be serious, and then there's times when you get to meme. It makes it more enjoyable to do, and it makes it more enjoyable for you guys as well. But anyways, we're gonna react to this. I don't know when they started streaming this. I think this started a few hours ago, so we're gonna have to take it all the way back to the beginning. I think they're already, Lord have mercy, they're already what, 2 hours in? Almost 3 hours in. Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and, we're going to skip all this intro nonsense. We're going to start with Erica Kirk. God forbid. Here we go. This ought to be interesting. So we got to take it all the way back to the beginning. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty long video. I don't know. Maybe I'll chop it up into segments. We'll see. We will see. But let me make sure the audio works. We do not want to see the chat. Yep, Phoenix, Arizona, 7:22 p.m. Eastern time, baby. Let's go. Let's go. This can't be real. How do people fall for this shit? It's ridiculous. And look, she's got the whole gold suit on and...
This is a full circle moment for me.
It's like the Oscars. It's like the Oscars, but for conservative shills. That's basically what this is. Whatever. We'll let them continue.
2 years ago, my husband stood on this stage and said, "Here I am, Lord. Use me." And boy, did he.
Oh, so deep.
It's really interesting. The enemy has thrown a lot of curveballs at us today and this week and the past 3 months. And one of them is the fact that my entire speech has been wiped because my iPad won't even turn on. So that's a fun technical difficulty that we can figure out. So we're just going to wing it. We're just going to wing it.
She literally has like she has like a boss babe, like boss bitch demeanor. Like this is not, does this woman give you the vibe of like a traditional Christian stay at home? Like no. It's completely fake. It's so artificial. All of it is so fake. I don't know how anybody watches this and is moved by it in any capacity. It is so fake. My God. With the fucking gold suit and the bouquet pattern and just all of it. Oh my Lord. Standing up at this podium.
I was going to share with you stats. I was going to share with you all of the things that we have going on building. So I'm going to just start it off with this. So last year, Charlie, I'll rewind. AmFest is Charlie's Super Bowl. Thank you. These are the stats. I got the stats, no speech. So again, we're going to wing it. So AmFest last year, Charlie reminded me that this was his Super Bowl. And for those of you who are sitting in the back, my husband was very intentional about making sure he was in the back because he wanted to sit in what he considered maybe the worst seat in the arena. And he made it a point to listen to the whole intro video, every speaker video, and he would tell the team, louder, more bass, more noise. He would say there's a treble and a bass knob. Turn the ones to make it right.
Who cares?
So even if you feel like you're in the worst seat in the house, you're not, because Charlie's sitting one of those. So you're in good company up there.
Why are they clapping for that? What?
But what's also very interesting is that when Charlie first and the team first came up with, since I don't have a speech, I might as well just walk around. When Charlie first came up with AmFest, he thought to himself, who would not love to celebrate America? So we're going to name it AmFest. And that's what he did. And I'll never forget, last year, we were blessed to have President Trump come and speak. And afterwards, Charlie turns to me, starts running. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, I'm about to go on Air Force One. I'm in heels trying to chase him to figure out what is going on. He goes, okay, so I got to get on Air Force One. I was like, good for you, baby. He's like, okay, so I need you to close out the AmFest, and I need you to do the staff meeting afterwards. And I was like, excuse me? He's like, yeah, you're closing out AmFest. And I was like, I am not closing out AmFest. He's like, yes, you are. And I said, what am I supposed to say? And he goes, you'll figure it out. That's why I married you. I was like, you always say that to me whenever we're in a position where we won't, like there's no script, there's nothing. He's like, baby, you'll figure it out. That's why I married you. So again, here we are. Right. So now we're opening AmFest. But what's so interesting and what I have learned so much within these past 3 months, again, the enemy. But he will never win. We know we're on the winning side. God is so good. So Charlie loved to share AmFest stats. So that's what we're going to do really quick. He would love for you guys to know that 80% of the attendees have never attended a TEEP USA event before. So thank you for everyone who is new. Welcome home. Turning Point USA is your home, and we're loving that you're here. 1/3 of the attendees are students. Yeah? We love our students. 54% are female attendees. Okay.
Wow, so great.
We have 40 breakout sessions, 178
like,
sponsors, all 50 states represented.
I'm gonna kill myself.
We have 25 countries represented plus Puerto Rico, but I have the list here.
Turning Point
don't
Puerto
worry, guys,
Rico?
Egypt is not on the
That's
list.
gotta be fake. Turning Point
Don't worry about
Egypt? Did she say Turning Point Egypt? Dude, this whole organization is like a globalist organization. This whole shit is just cooked.
Don't worry, guys. Egypt is not on the list.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about
Oh,
that.
I see what she did. That was good. That was good. Erica, that was good. A little slight diss at Candace Owens. I like that. I like that. I see what she did there. Egypt is not on the list. It's not on the TPUSA chapter list, guys. Just keep that in mind. Yeah, that was good. Very good. Very good.
But, oh, how funny. I say Egypt and my iPad turns on.
She's cooking her ass.
That's fun.
She's cooking
Where
her
were
right
we?
now.
Okay. So anyways, the past 3 months I have learned a lot. You learn very quickly who is ready to go to war with you. You learn very quickly who thinks emotionally versus logically when you go through something as horrible that not only myself went through, but every single one of you in here that loved my husband. You find out who stays with you, who leaves. You find out a lot. You find out who's going to pray with you when there's no words left. And you also learn some unexpected things, like the fact that Joy Reid probably needs a really, really good hug. And honestly, I'm here for it if she needs it. I got a good hug for you. Good hug for you. I'll even touch the back of your head.
Okay, Mrs. Showstopper. Talk that shit.
But I love you guys. But here's what I've learned the most in these past 3 months is that my husband, he deeply mattered on a multitude of levels, so much so that it proved even more once, same exact way.
What? Wait, why did it skip?
So much so that it proved even more once, same exact way.
That's weird. Okay.
Same exact way.
Maybe it's
and
just
you'll
a
learn
stream.
that. You'll learn that about me the more that you get to know me. I know I'm new here. But you'll learn.
Sorry about that, guys.
You'll
It's the
learn.
stream.
Him and I were not afraid of that. And that's also why the past several months, several weeks, I honored my husband by completing all of his pre-planned fall media tour hits for his book, any commitment he had. I wanted to honor that for him. I wasn't going on a media tour myself. This was for my husband. Because in our household, our word is our bond. And when you give it, you uphold it. So I honored my husband that way. And so what I'm inspired by is the fact that Charlie and I, again, will go wherever we need to go, but so will you. That's why you guys are here.
This woman is so eerie. Like, just look at her. I'm sorry I'm pausing this, but like, I don't know, I gotta say it. Like, look at her face. Like, look at her face and listen to the pitch of her voice and the cadence of her speech. Like, just, it's eerie. It's eerie. Just listen.
Need to go, but so will you. That's why you guys are here. All of you are here because you know that you're sitting saying...
It's like she's a husk. She's hollow. She's like a robot. She's like that damn robot from the new Predator movie. It's like her mouth is moving, her eyes are moving. She's speaking, but it's like, it's so mechanical almost. It's not like, where's the emotion? It's so flat. It's so, like, I don't know how to explain it. Is it just me? Like, just look.
I want to do something. So that's why you came here. You came here to meet other people, to know that you're not in this fight alone.
I don't know. Like, she gives such a corporate, managerial bot vibe. I don't know. It's just off-putting. But maybe I'm just seeing things.
You're here for a purpose. God made you for a purpose. Students, raise your hands. Out of those students, drop your hands. Put your hand up if you're in high school. Okay, all
Lord.
of you.
Oh, Lord.
I love it. I love my high schoolers.
I'm sure you do.
Charlie had a very special place in his heart for Club America. He's like, how could you not love Club America? All of you, again.
She gives me like a cougar vibe. I don't know why.
Going where you need to go. If your Club America's not set up or you want to set one up, step right into your admin's office. College students, raise your hands. Got a lot of them. So where you got to be willing to go is on your campus.
They're packed out.
That means either starting a chapter, joining a chapter, maybe even one day putting up a tent in the quad. We're not afraid. For churchgoers, hold your pastor accountable for biblical citizenship. Okay? There are so many ways to get involved. That's why Charlie built Turning Point USA the way he did. He didn't care your race, your age, your background. If Charlie listened to every single person that told him, you're too young to make a difference, you don't have enough connections, you're not going to do it, he would have let that noise consume him, and he would not have built the machine that he has built today. So don't you dare let anyone tell you you're too young, you're not smart enough, and you're not connected enough.
Like, why, like, he built the machine. Like, why is it everything about him? Like, she talks about him like there's no warm, real stories. It's all related to politics. Like, he built this TPUSA machine, and if you're young, you gotta get involved, and you gotta go to the administration and the faculty at your college, and he was chasing me off, you know, he was chasing Donald Trump to get on Air Force One. It's like all of her stories revolve around the success that she got from him. It's like she liked him because of his success. That's the thing with a lot of people who get married once they're rich, especially if they've been, you know, in the limelight for a while and they're highly connected. Like, a lot of it is just for show, you know, these marriages of convenience, because it looks weird to be single and very successful and be like 30 or 34, 30, 33, whatever, in your early to mid 30s. And so a lot of people just get married for the sake of, you know, optics, for their social status, you know, to fly under the radar so that they look normal at the cocktail parties. But none of this is genuine. None of this is normal. She doesn't, I don't get warmth from this woman. I don't get warmth or sincerity from this woman when she talks about Charlie. I just, it doesn't radiate from her. It's just it's too mechanical.
As long as you're a part of Turning Point USA, we will empower you and give whatever you need to be able to make that come to life. Okay?
Yeah, I'm sure you will.
Charlie wasn't just a speaker. He wasn't just a political thinker. He wasn't just a thought leader. Again, he was a bridge. He was a pathway. He was a connection point to...
He was a mouthpiece, really.
...generations. He was a pathway and connection point to communication, to inner politics. And he also looked at a generation that has been mocked, that has been dismissed, that has been discouraged, and told them, you matter, your ideas matter, your decisions matter. And he would say this country is still worth defending and still worth sacrificing for. So, like all of you, this is our turning point as well, especially as we move into 2026. And I want to share with you, off this paper, I'm not going to wing it this one, because I want all of you guys to absorb the magnitude of these numbers. The number of student requests to get involved since 9/10, 140,000 plus get involved requests have been submitted since 9/10. 140,000.
That is pretty crazy. That's a lot. That's huge.
Total number of students involved. This is involved within Turning Point USA. 1 million plus students involved in Turning Point USA. Current chapter numbers as of December 18th, 2025. 3,082 Club America chapters, 1,432 college chapters. So that leaves 4,514 total chapters as of today. And we are starting 50 chapters per day at Turning Point USA. It's amazing. Something I also love right now is how we are getting...
You know, she's so excited about all the money she's about to start making. All the money she's about to start making from this. The interviews, the speaking engagements, all of it. The book deals, the press tours, just everything. This woman is about to be swimming in cash. Swimming in cash. You guys have no idea. She's about to be filthy rich. Filthy rich. And I know she's loving it.
Getting some amazing state partnerships with Club America. I want to give a huge shout out to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's in the house. Florida. Okay. Indiana. Texas. Of course. And Tennessee. Another turning point for us for 2026 is the Make Heaven Crowded Tour, something I'm very excited about. For those of you who attended the memorial service, that revival is a slice of heaven that I'm going to make sure we take around this whole entire country. So we have different tour stops that are going to be coming up that I want you guys to be aware of. Feel free to take a picture whenever they put it up there. But if you're in any of these cities, we are bringing that.
Does anybody care about any of this? I want to get to the politics. Like, let's get to the politics. Let's get to the commentary. Like, all these numbers, I don't know if... I guess that's not what she's here for. I guess she's just here to promote TPUSA, but I don't know. I'm not going to speed it up yet. I guess I'll just play it. But I want to get to, like, the drama. I want to get to, like, the WWE stuff, like Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson. That's what I really want to see.
To you. It's going to be amazing. God is so good.
TPUSA crossover SmackDown, baby. Let's go.
God is so good. I also want to note that our church partnership, since 9/10, we have over 8,000 church partnerships and counting.
Wow. Just like this, you guys got to keep in mind, TPUSA, this thing is going to be a machine for the right wing and for the Republican Party for a long time. So the personnel, the leaders, the presidents, the directors, the people at TPUSA, they're going to be in many cases, or in many regards, like the primary default, face of the Republican Party, the public face of the Republican Party for a long time. So this shit that happens with TPUSA, it matters. It matters because, I mean, like I said, they're in all 50 states. They're in 23 countries. They're in all 50 states. They're at, I think, over 1,000 colleges across the country. I know at least hundreds of colleges across the country. Hundreds. And like she said, I think they have, 1 million members of TPUSA. I don't know if that's lifetime members or active members. And I don't exactly know the structure of TPUSA or how it works, but this thing is it's like an organ. It's like the activist organ of the Republican Party. So this thing is thoroughly infiltrated. This thing is just a machine. That's all it is. It's just a pro-America machine.
This one's very special to me.
Which is not bad,
Charlie's
but it's like
love
it's just
for debate will always be.
It's just open for
the DNA of Turning Point USA.
Open to corporate interests.
We believe in debate because we believe in truth.
For the highest bidder.
And we believe in civil discourse because we believe that truth can withstand scrutiny. So that is why we will be launching the Pick Up the Mic initiative and getting back on campus for Prove Me Wrongs and campus tour events this spring and fall of 2026. I'm also really excited about everything that we're doing at Turning Point Action. We are locked in and mission focused for both 2026 and 2028. We're investing in states and not just in races. So what I mean by that is we are building the red wall, Arizona, Nevada, New Hampshire. That's going to be very important to us. We're going to ensure that President Trump has Congress for all 4 years.
Good luck with that.
We are going to get my husband's friend, J.D. Vance, elected for 48 in the most resounding way possible.
Just the other day, she was asked by Bari Weiss if she was going to endorse J.D. Vance in 28, and she said, let's just wait. Now she's saying, see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, all of it is, it's all for show. It's all one big show. It's all one big optics game. It's all an illusion. All of this is an illusion. You know? I don't know. We just want results at the end of the day. That's all that matters. You know, all this other stuff, all the shows and, you know, the big crowds and the speaking engagements and liberty and freedom, like we just want a prosperous country. You can miss me with all this and all the JD Vance and Trump, and none of these people matter. Who's going to provide, who's going to produce results ultimately? Like all the theater and stuff, like I don't care about all the theater. It's fun for the entertainment. It's fun like the primaries and the speaking engagements and the debates and all that. Who's going to save this country? That's literally all that matters. Who's going to close the border? Who's going to do mass deportations? Who's going to restore law and order? Who's going to engage in like a real, you know, nation building project, a real project of nation building? Who's going to do healthcare reform? Like, these are the things that matter. Infrastructure bills, end the wars. Until that is determined, until a particular candidate is willing to check off all those boxes on foreign policy, healthcare, law and order, immigration, infrastructure, cost of living, all this other stuff means nothing to me. I'm not moved by any of it. I'm not moved by TPUSA, the Jewish Leadership Conference, all these fucking conferences and speaking engagements. I don't care about any of it. We just want to see results. Give me a document. Tell me exactly what you're going to do. I'll read through it. And if it's good, I will vote for you. All this other stuff, all the talking, you know, it's just, I don't know. It's just, it doesn't move me anymore. That's all I'm saying. All the talking and all the, we want results, ultimately. I'm just not with the drama.
On Arizona, folks, so you guys...
I get it's important, but like, ultimately, if it's not going to produce results, what good is it?
House, Arizona, go bigs or go home is where we're at right now mentally. But my husband didn't build this movement so people could feel comfortable. He built this movement so people could feel brave and to be brave with action. So people could see on full display that when you stop talking to people, especially those that you disagree with, you are the one that actually becomes weaker. Let that sink in. So you may not agree with everyone on this stage this weekend, and that's okay. Welcome to America.
Wow, so she's setting the stage. She's setting the stage for Ben Shapiro
Charlie
and Tucker
would have
Carlson
welcomed that.
to go at each other.
He believed disagreement was something not to be canceled. It was something to...
Honestly, you got to give him credit. On some level, you got to give him credit for hosting Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson at the same event after everything that's happened in the last 3 months. Kudos to America Fest and TPUSA for at least doing that. You know, you gotta get both sides of the argument. You know, so at least they're not just being like launderers for a particular ideology or, you know, group of people within the GOP or within the right-wing political space.
confront with clarity, courage, and grace. And Charlie loved truth way more than conformity. So this weekend for me personally is laced with nostalgia and it's laced with hope. But deeper than that, it's about carrying forward what Charlie built and ultimately what he gave his life for. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. The mission didn't end with Charlie's life. It's being lived out through each and every one of you in your own way. Again, it doesn't matter your age, doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter your background. AmFest is not about echo chambers. It's very important to know that because it's about sharpening one another.
There you go.
It's about digging deeper into ideas instead of retreating into slogans. And it's about remembering that freedom requires responsibility and truth requires courage. So my challenge to you this weekend is very simple. Don't just attend AmFest. Let it mark you. Let it stretch you.
What?
Let it challenge assumptions.
What?
Strengthen convictions.
That's a weird way to phrase it.
And maybe even make you a little uncomfortable because that's where growth happens.
Interesting.
In those moments. Let it be another turning point in your life. Another moment where you decide not to drift, not to disengage, not to give into cynicism, but to stand up boldly, to be brave, to speak clearly, because that is how we are going to honor Charlie. We are going to honor him not just with words, but with action. So with that, welcome to AmFest. God bless you guys.
I don't know, it just feels very like utilitarian, like she's using her husband's tragedy for hype. I don't know. Maybe I'm being cynical. You guys can let me know how you feel, but I just all of this political kayfabe and, you know, it's just too much. It's too much, you know, flashing lights and colors for it to feel real. And then using her husband's death to like sell this or pitch America Fest in
Well, I couldn't be more excited to be here today. The golden age of America is just beginning.
Here we go. Here we go, Ben Shapiro. Let's go. Talk to me, man.
Lions are people who want to build things. People who are productive. The scavengers believe that if you fail, it's probably somebody else's fault.
Oh,
Donald Trump and the American people are about to make our economy dynamic again. Free markets are merit. Free markets are justice.
Yes.
Free markets are innovation, and they are dynamism.
There you
How
go.
do
Free
we
markets,
retain the momentum?
Free markets. That's what I get hyped for in the morning. I get hyped for free markets in the morning. That's why I wake up. That's why I love America. Free markets. Free markets. I love that.
Right now.
Ladies and
I'm so
gentlemen,
inspired.
Ben Shapiro.
I have never. Why are they trying to hype Ben Shapiro? Like, why are they doing this? Oh my God, he's got his fucking yarmulke like always. It's just, why are they hyping Ben Shapiro like this?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's obviously a massive honor to be here at Turning Point USA. It's even more of an honor to follow.
Literally, all I want to hear is him go after Tucker and Nick Fuentes. This will be funny.
Erica Kirk, a heroic figure and a true American patriot.
That shit was not tough. Why are they trying to hype him like that?
I really believe that the best way to judge a goodness of a man is to see the goodness of his wife and his children. And on that measure, Charlie was unsurpassed. Erica and her children are in all of our hearts. And of course, this is an incredibly bittersweet moment. It's absolutely bitter because of the murder of our friend Charlie Kirk, an irreplaceable human being. I knew Charlie from the time he was 18 years old, and I watched him build himself into one of the most powerful exponents of conservatism in America, one of the most powerful coalition builders in American history. But it's also sweet to see the number of people who continue to remember Charlie each and every day and to carry on his mission. Well, today, I want to talk about the future of the country. And the future of this country, this amazing country, relies on the future of the conservative movement. It relies on what TPUSA defines as its core mission: freedom, free markets, and limited government. And most of all, the future of this country relies on truth.
Oh, give it to me, Ben. Give it to me. Give me those truth bombs. Let's go.
This country relies on truth because victory, true, real, lasting victory, cannot be achieved without truth. Victory without truth is victory for a lie, and that is no victory at all. And unity without truth is no unity. It is merely solidarity in falsehood.
That's deep.
You see, we live in a chaotic time, and a time when lots of people are asking lots of legitimate questions about the conservative movement. What ought we to think about the relationship between free markets and traditional virtue? How should we craft a pragmatic foreign policy that spreads our interests and upholds our ideals? What governmental means are appropriate to achieve political ends? All of these questions aren't new, of course. They've been asked for as long as human beings have been talking about politics, thousands of years. And over the course of this conference, you'll hear a lot of opinions on a lot of these questions. I have my own perspectives on them, of course. You can hear them every single day on my show. My fundamental values have been the same for 25 years. Peace through strength on foreign policy. Traditional values on social policy. Free markets with regard to economics. But today, I want to talk about something even more important.
Oh, spicy.
How to discern those attempting to speak truth from frauds and grifters.
Wow. Wow, expose them, Ben. Spill the tea.
Because
Let's go.
something is new. An informational environment rife with both opportunity and chaos. Opportunity because the legacy media gatekeepers are no longer in charge of what we see and what we hear. And chaos because an anarchic informational environment means we actually have to be smart in how we assess the information and arguments that we hear. Why does that matter? Well, because today the conservative movement is in serious danger. It is in danger, not just from a left that all too frequently excuses everything up to and including murder. The conservative movement is also in danger from charlatans who claim to speak in the name of principle, but actually traffic in conspiracism and dishonesty, who offer nothing but bile and despair, who seek to undermine fundamental principles of conservatism by championing enervation and grievance. These people are frauds, and they are grifters, and they do not deserve your time. And they are something worse than that, a danger to the only movement capable of stopping the left from wrecking the country wholesale. So today, I want to discuss 5 obligations that people who speak to you on matters of importance have to you. I want to speak to you about our duties. Our first duty is truth. We owe you the truth. That means we should not mislead you. It means we shouldn't hide the ball. We shouldn't be deliberately obscure about what we're telling you. We have an obligation to clarity and to honesty. This means that we actually have to be clear in the language that we use. We should not traffic in generality. We should not say things like, they shot Charlie, without specifying whom we mean by they. The person who allegedly shot Charlie Kirk, and whom all the evidence points at, all of it, is a gay, trans-loving furry.
Is that so, Ben? Oh, yeah, let's clap it up for that. Yeah, clap it up, clap it up.
If we are going to target ideological movements, we should talk about the fact that the radical trans movement treats all those who oppose it as existential threats. Or if we're going to talk about the Democratic Party making room for the radical trans movement and echoing its inflammatory rhetoric, well, we should talk about that. Those are specific problems, and they require specific responses. When people say they shot Charlie, however, they are instead trafficking in vagary that results in increased hatred without proposing any effective response. They are fostering despair and rage, and that makes things worse. We must also be honest about what people say and do, regardless of what that means coalitionally. It is the job of politicians to build coalitions. It's the job of those of us who try to shape public opinion to hold politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values. We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth. So, for example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk
Oh my, they're cheering for oh shit. Wait, I can't, are they cheering for Candace Owens or are they cheering for Ben calling out Candace Owens? I can't tell. If they're cheering for Candace Owens, that's funny. That's pretty crazy. Ben is going off. You got to give him his credit. He's got balls. He's going nuclear. Name dropping Candace Owens. If he name drops Tucker, then you know he's standing on business. He's standing on shekels. He's standing on that shekel, baby. Let's go. He's standing up for the nation of Israel, the Jewish nation, a proud Jew. Give it to me, Ben. Let's go.
So, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk casting aspersions at TPUSA and the people who work here, who worked with Charlie every single day, his best friends, to cast aspersions at Mikey McCoy and Andrew Colvin and Blake Neff and Tyler Boyer, and yes, at Erica Kirk, and to imply or outright claim complicity in a cover-up over Charlie's murder, to spew absolutely baseless trash implicating everyone from French intelligence to Mossad to members of TPUSA in Charlie's murder or a cover-up in that murder.
He just had to defend Mossad. He couldn't help himself. He had to defend Mossad. Can't forget Mossad. Ugh, I love it. Thank you, Ben. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you for defending the virtue and the integrity of Mossad.
Then we, as people with a microphone, have a moral obligation to call that out by name.
Fascinating.
Erica Kirk and TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks. Particularly,
he's pissed. I love it. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. I want full smackdown, rolling on the carpet, mud wrestling, sumo wrestling, bitch slapping, leaving claws on each other's backs. This is what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Yeah. Yeah, I like this. You can look at how emotional he's getting. He's like shaking. Like, look at him. He's actually shaking. Look.
TPUSA never should have been put in the position to have to defend themselves against such specious and evil attacks, particularly in a time of mourning.
Why is he's going so hard? I love it. Look at his face. He's pissed. I love it. Let's go, Ben. Turn me up, Ben.
And the people who refuse to condemn Candace's truly vicious attacks, and some of them are speaking here, are guilty of cowardice. Yes, cowardice.
Yes, Ben. Call them out. Let's go.
The fact that they have said nothing while Candace has been vomiting all sorts of hideous and conspiratorial nonsense into the public square for years is just as cowardly.
Talk that talk, Ben. Let's go.
Second, because we owe you the truth, we owe you the duty to speak out of principle, not personal feeling. It should not matter whether we despise someone or whether we love someone. The question is what they say and what they do, and whether those things are morally decent or not. On a political level, do they foster freedom, justice, and prosperity? On a personal level, do they treat others as they would wish to be treated? Personal feeling is not a substitute for moral judgment. To take again the Candace Owens situation as an example, friendship with public figures who say or do evil things is not an excuse for silence on the matter. Politics is not the sisterhood of the traveling pants. Politics is about principle, and if you are willing to sacrifice basic truth and simple principle in favor of emotional solidarity, you have betrayed your fundamental duty to the American people.
That's true. That's just true. He's absolutely correct about that. Anybody who's buying into this Candace stuff is a...
First off, I should break the omerta here and just be a little bit clear. The notion that people in our industry are close friends, like we all take holiday breaks with each other and go to each other's kids' graduations and stuff, is generally untrue. Some people do that, most of us don't. We see each other at conferences and we talk on the phone and all the rest. We're business colleagues. But even if it were true that other public figures were our best friends, our very best friends, that does not relieve us of our duty to speak out of principle and not to cover up evil or shy away from addressing it out of friendship.
Yeah, because you were definitely doing that with Israel from 2023 to 2025. You were definitely speaking out of principle. You were definitely speaking the truth on that, Ben, right? When you were flying to the Knesset, when you're hanging out with Bibi Netanyahu. Yeah, you're definitely, when you're lying about all the atrocities going on in Gaza, yeah, you're definitely being truthful about that. Totally being truthful. You know, spare me this high horse bullshit. Like, you know, it's funny, I'm getting hyped and everything, but seriously, like, the fact that this guy's gonna come up here and talk to us about principle and virtue and the truth, spare me that bullshit. Spare me all of it. I don't want to hear any of that. You know, this guy, he's just a foreign interloper. This guy is hanging out with the prime minister of a foreign nation, and he's literally covering up for them. So this guy is a part of the problem, regardless of what he says. He is a part of the problem. He is a symptom of the problems with this country politically and with the GOP and with the right-wing movement. You know, all this talk about truth and principles and it's our duty to say this and that. Get the fuck out of here with that. Get the fuck out of here.
Very best friends. That does not relieve us of our duty to speak out of principle and not to cover up evil or shy away from addressing it out of friendship.
He's talking about covering up evil and shy away from it out of friendship. Dude, your fucking best friend is a war criminal and he's killed tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of children. And he's gotten away with it. And every country on earth is literally at the UN passing, you know, voting yes on security resolutions against Israel. I'm talking about the truth. Give me a break.
So no, Tucker Carlson, it is not an excuse to go silent on Candace's targeting of TPUSA.
Wow. Call him out. Let's go, Ben. Let's go.
The same holds true of Megyn Kelly.
Look, guys, I'm not a Ben Shapiro guy. I don't like Ben Shapiro, but hey, this is fun. I love it. I love the fact that he's going hard. Once again, no respect for Ben Shapiro, but he's beating his chest. He's letting his nuts hang right now.
A person I consider a friend, characterizing Candace as a young mother and thus shying away from condemning her actions or fibbing about them. That is a non-starter. Meghan Markle is a young mother. Ilhan Omar is a young mother. That doesn't matter. And when Meghan said this week, quote, "My goal and my job here is to try to understand, yes, where Candace is coming from on this," and says she sees no purpose in inserting herself, quote, into this on one side, that is a moral and logical absurdity. There is only one moral side here, Erica Kirk's side.
Is that so? Since when was that the arrangement?
You know, the side of the widow with 2 children, whose husband was shot live on camera in front of all of us.
We know.
Friendship with the person accusing TPUSA of a cover-up of Charlie's murder is no excuse for cowardice. Third, and relatedly, we have a duty to take responsibility for what we say and do. If we hire awful people, we're responsible for that. I have some experience there, as you might suspect. That means that if we offer a guest for your viewing, we owe it to you to ask the kinds of questions that actually get at the truth. If we agree with the guest, that's fine, but we should own it. So, for example, if you host a Hitler apologist, Nazi-loving, anti-American piece of refuse like Nick Fuentes,
It's like they're cheering
You
for
know,
him and
the Nick
booing at the
Fuentes who
same
said that the
time.
vice president of the United States is a, quote, fat gay race traitor married to a Jeet. The person who said that Charlie Kirk was a, quote, retarded
Did somebody
idiot.
cheer?
The person who said, and pardon my language here, it's his quote, that he, quote, took Turning Point USA and fucked it, and that's why it's filled with groypers. If you have that person on your show and you proceed to glaze him, you ought to own it.
He said glaze. Let's go, Ben. Let's go, Ben. Talk that shit. Let's go. He's standing
There is
on
a reason
business.
that Charlie Kirk despised Nick Fuentes, and indeed even chided Dinesh D'Souza for debating him. He knew that Nick Fuentes is an evil troll, and that building him up is an act of moral imbecility. And that is precisely what Tucker Carlson did. He built Nick Fuentes up. And he ought to take responsibility for that, just as he ought to take responsibility for glazing pornographer and alleged sex trafficker Andrew Tate,
Wow.
or for mainstreaming fake
Wow, he's bringing everything. He's bringing up Andrew Tate. Dude, he's coming for Tucker's life right now. Holy shit. He's coming for his life. He's coming for his career. Lord.
historian and pseudo-Nazi apologist Daryl Cooper as America's best and most honest popular historian.
Oh my God.
Hosts are the apologist Daryl Cooper as America's best and most
Did
honest.
he say Nazi apologist?
Fake historian and pseudo-Nazi apologist Daryl Cooper as America's
Pseudo-Nazi apologist. What does that even mean? Okay, that's a new one.
best and most honest popular historian.
Right.
Hosts are indeed responsible for the guests they choose and the questions they ask those guests. Fourth, because we have a duty to truth, we also have a duty to provide you with evidence of the claims that we make. Emotive accusations, conspiracy theories, and just asking questions, that's lazy and stupid and misleading.
That's true.
None
That's
of them
very
are a
true.
substitute for truth. None of them are a substitute for evidence.
That's true.
So, when Candace Owens says, I don't know, but I know, that is retarded. And we are all more retarded for having heard it.
Good one, man. The R word. Yeah, retarded. Yeah. Okay.
When Steve Bannon, for example, accuses his foreign policy opponents of loyalty to a foreign country, he's not actually making an argument based in evidence. He's simply maligning people that he disagrees with, which is indeed par for the course from a man who was once a PR flack for Jeffrey Epstein. Check the record.
I mean, it's true, though. Everybody knows it's true. Steve Bannon is right. This right here is a foreign interloper.
Our duty to provide you evidence means we actually have to do much more than just ask questions. Just asking questions is something my 5-year-old does, and it's really cute when it comes from my 5-year-old. But when grown men and women spend their days just asking questions without, seeking answers, they are lying to you. In fact, they're doing something even worse. They are seeding distrust in the world around you, and they are enervating you in the process.
Damn.
So, for example, if many speakers, including Tucker Carlson and others, get on stage here at TPUSA and claim, without proper evidence, that Jeffrey Epstein was running a Mossad rape ring being covered up by the Trump administration, they are not actually uncovering a conspiracy or effectuating a solution. They are claiming a special provenance to information they won't let you see, which builds their power and leaves you with none. They are also implicating in their speculation actual human beings, good human beings, like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi, and yes, the President of the United States, even if they're too cowardly to say President Trump's name. And that means you won't trust those good people in the future. You haven't gotten smarter, you've just been manipulated. When forced to demonstrate their evidence, these same people will often refuse to provide it. They'll claim ignorance. They'll pretend they're outside the system. And they don't have access to actual information. They're just asking questions. But many of these same people have direct pipelines to informational sources. So, for example, if Tucker wants answers to his questions about, say, Jeffrey Epstein, he could call the Vice President of the United States. He's quite close with him. But he won't, because that might undermine the empty speculation. None of this means there aren't actual real conspiracies in the world. Of course there are. But actual conspiracies require actual evidence. Yes, there was a Russiagate conspiracy, and we know the names of the people involved and what they did. We know Hillary Clinton and Fusion GPS and James Comey and Loretta Lynch and Adam Schiff. We know all of those people. Yes, there was a COVID-19 conspiracy. We know that Anthony Fauci worked to shut down alternative solutions from people like Jay Bhattacharya. But when people posit a conspiracy and then provide you no evidence, they are doing you a fundamental disservice, and they are making you stupider in the process.
Everything he just said there was correct. I can't disagree.
Finally,
the whole conspiracy
because it is our
stuff,
job to make the lives of our audience better, right? That's really our job, is to give you more information to make your lives better. We have a duty to propose solutions. That's why we have to talk about our problems in order to find the solutions. That's what politics was supposed to be about, after all, finding solutions to our common problems. If we speak endlessly about the problems we face, without ever positing a solution other than wrecking the system or centralizing power in a cult-like figure, we are not finding solutions. We are merely making problems worse. Just asking questions, positing vague conspiracies, raving like Alex Jones about the secret confederacies that control your life, none of it makes your life better. None of it. In fact, it makes your life markedly worse. That's because if you truly come to believe that nothing in your life is in your control, you can't even take control of your own life. You despair of your ability to change your own circumstances, and then you fail. And you must not fail.
He's going after
Because
everyone. Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens. Jeez. Yeah, like he's I gotta give him credit. He's drawing lines in the sand. Good stuff.
The most fundamental truth of all in the United States, for all of its problems, many of which, a huge number of which, are real and serious, the United States is still the greatest bit of that begins with truth.
What's up with the lag, man?
Is still the greatest bit of that begins with truth.
All right.
We owe you.
This is there's something up with RSBN. I don't know why it's doing that.
That quest for truth. You owe yourselves that quest for truth. And true victory only the Constitution ever devised by man. Thanks so much. Happy to take a couple questions.
Damn. He went off. They got the whole crowd standing up. This kid right here is definitely a groiper, though. Let's just keep it real. This kid just has groiper phrenology, physiognomy. Greek statue PFP head ass. I ain't gonna lie, Ben just cooked all of those people. He just cooked all of them. And now he's doing his little swagger dance.
Hi, my name is Jenna. I'm one of the co-presidents of the Turning Point chapter at JMU.
James Madison?
I have a question. How do you balance telling the truth with delivery and speaking to people who disagree with you?
So I think obviously the truth comes first. We ought to be polite, but the truth comes first. And if you can tell the truth in a polite way, that's the best way to do it. But sometimes people perceive truth as impolite, and that's just the way of the world. You know, I rather famously have said that facts don't care about your feelings. And that happens to be true. You know, when you engage in a conversation, I've said this to a lot of people, when you engage in a conversation, it's very important to sort of determine the end of the conversation. If it's going to be impossible to tell somebody the truth in a productive way, you probably shouldn't engage in that kind of conversation, and you should make that judgment ahead of time. But truth always has to take precedence over politeness if the two come into conflict, particularly if you're talking publicly, as we all do for a living. I'm not talking about you're talking to your, kid and they bring you a macaroni painting and they're like, is it good or not? And you're like, no, this is terrible, and you stuff it in the trash. It is terrible, but, say that it's good, and then later you kind of put that. I understand. But when we're talking about politics and policy, obviously the truth has to come first, because if we can't agree on fundamental facts, there's no possibility for solutions.
Okay.
Thank you for being here, Ben. You cited during your speech truth as the most important tenet of American conservatism. Why, therefore, did you call irrelevant the Israeli attack in 1967 on the USS
Damn,
Liberty?
let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I love it. Let's go. I knew we had at least one groiper in the audience. Hold on, let him cook. Let him cook real quick.
Attack in 1967 on the USS Liberty, which left dozens of American servicemen dead and hundreds wounded.
So what I actually
look at the way he's standing. Like, look at his face and look at his posture. Like, oh my god, we got like a pseudo Chad right here. I like how the whole audience is clapping. This is hysterical.
said is that if we're looking at modern Israeli-American relations, looking at an attack that happened mistakenly by multiple Navy reports, multiple Israeli reports, and all available evidence, and using that attack in order to undermine today's relations between Israel and America, that's irrelevant. As irrelevant as it would be to cite a piece of evidence from World War II or from 1776 to define America's relations with, for example, Great Britain or Germany today. That does not mean that the attack wasn't horrible for the Americans involved, that it wasn't bloody and terrible. The Israeli government paid reparations to the people who were killed. If you look at the actual military record of what happened on the USS Liberty, it was clearly a mistaken and tragic attack. The people who frequently cite the USS Liberty, however, are not talking about the specifics of the USS Liberty. I suspect that the vast majority of people who bring this up are doing so in order to suggest that Israel deliberately attacked an American ship because Israel deliberately wants to harm America. It is connected generally with a larger point. I wonder if that's your point.
If the truth matters, then the Israeli government must be held accountable for that attack. The American flag was flying on that ship. You do not mistake an American ship for a foreign one when our flag is flying.
So,
that's true.
And we can spend the rest of the time talking about the specifics of the U.S. Liberty attack, or you can actually go look at the naval investigations that were done, multiple naval investigations that were done. The reality is that people were flying Mirage planes for the Israeli military at the time. The USS Liberty was sailing in an area where it had essentially gone off-grid. The Israeli military mistook it for an Egyptian ship. They thought it was shelling Al Arish, which happened not to be true. In the initial attack, the American flag was knocked down, and then the attack went on for about 90 minutes. And then, as soon, you can hear this, by the way, on the tapes of the Israeli pilots talking to each other. As soon as they realize that it's an American ship, they call off the attack, they speed a ship to try and help the USS Liberty. There have been multiple unfortunate friendly fire incidents between Allied forces, including, for example, in the Gulf War, where U.S. forces were responsible for killing about 9 British troops during the Gulf War. It's an unfortunate reality of war, but you're not answering my question, which is, what is your broader agenda in asking the question? Because I suspect that your question is not limited to your specific ire over—
See, this is the difference between somebody who actually knows the specifics of the case and like an online Nick Fuentes cocksucker.
For an incident that happened in 1967.
Which I presume is what this kid is. He's going to make an example out of this kid.
I think we should question any foreign country's relationship with our government.
That's totally fine, but I'm just wondering why you
serve American interests.
Again, I'm perfectly fine questioning any country's relationship with the United States. But
very, very impressive and very insightful response, buddy. You know, it's like this guy has fucking Twitter brain. Like he got that. He got that. Oh yeah, we gotta make sure we question every country's relationship with the United States government. Native Americans, beware of foreign influence. It's like, bro, like, these people get their talking points off of fucking YouTube shorts.
Again, I'm wondering what your motivation is in bringing up
a 6-decade-old
attack as though it is the #1 issue in assessing the relationship between Israel and the United States today.
Well, many problems persist to this day, but it's interesting that you say 6-decade-old incident when there are many people in this audience who were alive for that attack. As if this is something that's irrelevant.
Well,
that doesn't
no, it's just not particularly relevant to assessing the relationship between the United States and Israel today, in the same way that in 1967, there are a wide variety of countries with which the United States had different relations. Okay, it's clear you're not going to actually answer the question, so I'm happy to move to this one.
I mean, he doesn't have any... This kid's not like the sharpest knife in the drawer.
Unfortunately, this will be the last question.
No!
Hi, my name is Natasha, and I'm a TPUSA chapter member at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles.
Oh. Okay, let's go, LA girl.
So my question is, just with the divide in the conservative movement right now, what is your suggestion as to how young people can kind of come together and bridge that divide and just, you know, bring unity right now?
Reality is that people were flying Mirage planes for the Israeli military at the time.
See,
the
what is
USS
going on with this? Like, what is up with the speed?
Which
Government.
that's
Holy shit.
relationship.
This is not me,
Hi,
guys, I swear.
At Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. So my question is, just with the divide in the conservative movement right now, what is your suggestion as to how young people can kind of come together and bridge that divide and just, you know, bring unity right now?
So again, I think that unity has to be reliant on first principles. No one would ask conservatives to unite with radical trans activists, because that would be silly. And so we first have to decide what are the principles that we hold in common, and then actually determine who are our allies in that particular fight. Now, again, the coalition may shift depending on the issue. That's kind of a normal thing in politics. Sometimes you're going to have different allies than you have with regard to other issues. But when it comes to how young people ought to decide what they believe, that's the thing I most care about. Because if I'm talking about the long-term trends of America, not merely the coalitions of the moment, which break and reform and break constantly. Right? George W. Bush's coalition was obviously not Donald Trump's coalition, and Donald Trump's coalition is not going to be J.D. Vance's coalition, meaning every politician has their own coalition. That's the nature of electoral politics. What I'm more concerned about is the trajectory of how people think and what people think. And so before determining how to unify with others, you should first decide what are the things that are important to you. What are your fundamental values? And then you should find people who agree with those fundamental values, because the problem is if you don't, then when push comes to shove, things come apart pretty quickly. I'll take one more.
Hi, Ben. Big fan of yours and stuff. And I'm currently a college sophomore. And my university just started a chapter, and it got approved.
Is she retarded?
So just for your advice, how can we spread conservatism on campus and any hate or anything like that? Just combat that. And what would your be words of encouragement?
Nice.
I mean, my words of encouragement are look at Charlie Kirk. Right? That's the word of encouragement. Charlie was your age when he started doing this. Again, I referenced earlier that I met Charlie when he was 18 years old. It was actually a David Horowitz Freedom Center conference, and Charlie was going around trying to meet donors. And I saw this really nerdy, tall, gangly kid walking around trying to meet people, and I started introducing Charlie to a few of his sort of original donors. And by the way, in the first conversation with Charlie, I've said this before, but it's true. Charlie walked away, and I turned to my friend Jeremy Boring. I said, that dude's going to be the head of the RNC one day. Because Charlie was just that much of a go-getter, and it turns out that he was a lot bigger than that. I think that everyone has the potential to do that. Not everybody has the same exact skill set, and you have to find the skill set that best suits you. Maybe you're great at debate. Charlie was great at debate. Actually, what's fascinating about Charlie is that Charlie made himself great at debate. I knew Charlie when he wasn't great at debate, and then I knew Charlie when he was great at debate. He actually cultivated a skill set, and it was really impressive and cool to watch him do that. That's something you can do too. So again, if Charlie can do that, a raw kid out of high school, no college degree, and build the most powerful conservative organization in America, then you can do it too, because that's what America's all about. You're an American, go do it. Thank you so much.
Okay, Ben. He just laid down the law. He just laid down the law. I gotta give it to him. Props. Who's next? Is Tucker next? If Russell Brand is next, I'm skipping.
That really did it for the purpose of forwarding free speech, the actual idea of doing something great for America.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yes!
Now we're heading
the internet.
Is that the quarter?
There's a video that's
Who's next? Tucker?
People are.
We're not watching any of these promos or ads.
That are
we want to hear the speeches.
Even though he's already
I don't care about this promotional bullshit.
I believe in what he believed in.
Create a bigger bomb.
Our age, too.
Video. So for me, he was a guide to life, and among young.
Grateful a lot.
Opinions and his thoughts was really inspiring for me.
Interesting. I wonder if do you think TPUSA can survive the Fuentes Groiper curse? This guy's got to be a Jew. This guy has to be a Jew. What's he got going on with his eyebrows? This guy looks crazy. All right, let's get to, is it Russell Brand? Yeah, we're not watching this crackpot. I'm good. I'm so good on that. And he's got his fucking Don Juan gay Ibiza nightclub outfit on.
Trump makes mistakes. He says...
Oh, no, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't listen to fucking 20 minutes of Russell Brand. I'm good. I'm so good off of that. We're skipping that. No, sir. God, how long did he speak for? Who the fuck wants to hear... Oh my God, an hour? Who wants to hear a fucking hour of Russell Brand? Okay, Tucker Carlson. Do we want to listen to Michael Knowles' speech, or do you want to skip to Tucker Carlson? I don't know. I really don't want to hear what Michael Knowles has to say. Because he's probably not going to say anything that... Like, Michael Knowles is one of those guys who just kind of wants to keep, you know, do his little, you know, Catholic, traditional, conservative, suave, Mediterranean thing. He wants to do that whole thing and not really ruffle any feathers and just make his money. But Tucker Carlson is, you know, Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro are actually, like, scrapping it out. You know, we're gonna skip Michael Knowles. We're gonna watch Tucker Carlson's speech. Maybe I'll come back to Michael Knowles, but I want to see Tucker Carlson because this ought to be interesting. Okay, let's skip to Tucker Carlson.
For they shall be called sons of God. God bless Charlie and the Kirk family. God bless all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I don't know how anybody can dislike Michael Knowles. Michael Knowles is a cool guy. Very suave. I like him.
I never miss a Charlie Kirk event because I love Charlie Kirk. The more you tell the truth, the stronger you become. Telling the truth means the hardest truth of all, which is telling the truth about yourself.
So everybody's telling the truth. Ben Shapiro is telling the truth. Nick Fuentes is telling the truth. Tucker Carlson's telling the truth. Candace Owens is... I mean, who's telling the truth? You know, what the fuck? Everybody's telling the truth, apparently. Okay, all right.
Be worth. You've got your lifetime. Will the richest people in the country be able to point a finger in your face and say, your position is too immoral to discuss, and if you keep talking, we're going to put you in jail? That has been their position, and they will never again get away with that. Ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tucker Carlson.
Let's go. Come on, Tuck. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. The fireworks. I love it. America, baby. Let's go. Doesn't have his dog this time.
Oh, what a trip. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, Tucker. Let's go.
Whoa.
Why does he always have these like outdoor khaki pants on? Like, why not just wear some slacks, dude? Come on, Tucker. Just wear some black slacks. Always with the khaki.
Thank you. Walking out is always such a trip at these things. I just got here and I feel like I missed the first part of the program. Hope I didn't miss anything meaningful. But I just want to say, I don't think I did. No, I'm just kidding. I watched it. I laughed. That kind of bitter, sardonic laugh that emerges from you when, like, Upside Down World arrives. When your dog starts doing your taxes and you're like, wait, it's not supposed to work this way. To hear calls for, like, deplatforming and denouncing people at a Charlie Kirk event, I'm like, what? This is hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah. This is hilarious. Actually,
Don't tell me they're... Okay, hold on. Is Tucker Carlson about to keep the cat fight going? Like denouncing... Of course he's talking about Ben Shapiro. I want to see a cat fight. Come on, let's go.
The clips, I was listening to myself, thinking as I often do when I hear myself speak, which is never, because I never watch myself, but at these events they always play like the role of you. And I'm like, that guy is pompous. Woo! Sorry about that. We don't see ourselves clearly. But the prediction that, at some point when Republicans took power again, which I did everything I could, to help, and really felt that was important. I still think, I was right. But I really thought that the impulse to deplatform people, or even to use the word platform as a verb, which it's not, it's a noun, don't steal my nouns, deplatform and denounce. Why haven't you denounced somebody else? The whole Red Guard cultural revolution thing that we so hated and feared on the left, that we did everything we could to usher in a new time where you could have an actual debate. I mean, this kind of was the whole point of Charlie Kirk's public life. And I think that he died for it. I really believe that. And I know a lot about it because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point, I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist. You shouldn't immediately go to motive. By the way, shut up racist is the #1 reason I voted for Donald Trump. And because I'm just sick of it. I mean, first of all, if I was a racist, if I was a bigot, I would just say so. Okay, it's America. You're allowed to be whatever kind of person you want. I'm not. I'm sincerely opposed, have always been, and will always be. But the style of debate where you prevent the other side from talking or being heard because you immediately go to motive, well, I wonder why you're asking that question. I wonder why. Why are you asking that question? I detect in the question a certain evil in your soul. And everyone listening should know that.
What is he talking about? Like, Tucker Carlson has a tendency to just ramble, and it's kind of incoherent. Like, what is he talking about? I don't know what he's talking about. Like, he's going off on like free speech and deplatforming and evil and like, what? Like, Ben Shapiro came with a topic sentence, a thesis, 2 body paragraphs, evidence, a conclusion, and he took questions. And Tucker Carlson is just, well, maybe he'll go somewhere with this, but I don't know what he's talking about.
Listening to you implicates them, and that they someday may be asked to denounce you, and that friendship is not a reason to defend someone. Love is no defense. I kind of thought we'd reached the end of that. And as far as I'm concerned, we have. And I'm not going to play by those rules. I'm not going to engage in that. If someone doesn't like what I think, fine with me, as long as I get to express it. That's my view. But since we're on the topic, I think I should take the opportunity to explain why Charlie was under all this pressure. And I think Erica, who I just saw backstage, and whom I love, and who I can tell you is totally committed to continuing the core principle of Charlie's public life, which is the right of every person to express what he believes, that is rooted in Christian faith. We believe people should be able to say what they think because they have souls. They're human beings created by God. They are not slaves. They are not animals. They are not objects. You cannot tell another human being to shut up, even shut up racist, because you don't own him. He is an independent, autonomous person created by God as an individual. Okay, so that's where that belief comes from. That's where free speech comes from. And there's no accident. This is the only country in the world that protects it, because our founding documents were informed, as you just heard so nicely expressed by Michael Knowles, my friend, by people who self-consciously incorporated Christian precepts into their structure of government.
True.
So Charlie was committed to that. But the people around him were like, you can't, because it's not that Carlson's wrong. My only point was I don't want a land war with Iran. I got over my skis and said I didn't want another regime change war with Iran. Rather than explain why we should have a regime change war with Iran, which I'd be happy to listen to, he's an anti-Semite. He's an anti-Semite. To which I said, well, obviously that's not true. And Charlie said, I know. And then it just didn't stop. So I continued to say, I'm not an anti-Semite. We don't care what you say. You're lying. You are. So let me just affirm one final time. Not only am I not an anti-Semite, and would say so if I was, I'm not an anti-Semite for a very specific reason. Not because it's unpopular or my donors don't like it. I don't have any donors. I'm not an anti-Semite because anti-Semitism is immoral. In my religion, it is immoral to hate people for how they were born. Period. But that is not a limited principle. That is a universal principle. It applies to every human being on planet Earth. You may not, you are prohibited by my religion, which is Christianity, from hating people for how they were born. Because God created them with his spark in his image. Because they have souls. You can disagree with them. You can hate their ideas. You may even find yourself, and I do, I'll confess it, hating them for a moment. But you can't hate everyone who's like them. You can't punish people for crimes they didn't commit. That's the basis of our justice system. That's the basis of Christian ethics. That's why we have what are called human rights. They apply to every human, not just your group, not just my group, but every group, every human, because we don't consider people in terms of the groups to which they belong. We consider them as individuals the way that God created them. So anti-Semitism is not just naughty, it's immoral. And it is precisely as immoral as hating any other group. And that would include...
Do you ever think the reason why he's going... I don't know if it's like a good cop, bad cop thing, but like, it's so weird. Like, why do you think he's going on this long, drawn-out rant about anti-Semitism at America Fest? It's to save his own ass. We know about the think tanks. We know about 9/11. We know about Iraq War II. We know about the think tanks and Wall Street and Larry Ellison and Paul Singer and Israel Englander and Sumner Redstone and Bob Iger and Leslie Wexner and Paul Schwartzman and Bill Ackman, and like, we know about all of it. The cat's out of the bag. We know that Jews have a disproportionate level of influence and control over our society. We know about PragerU. We know about Mark Dubowitz, YNAB, SPLC, ADL, Right Wing Watch, Media Matters. Like, everybody knows. It's not a conspiracy. We all know. And pointing it out doesn't mean we hate Jews. But why do you think at one of the biggest conservative speaking engagements of the year, he's going on this long, drawn-out rant about anti-Semitism? It's to put the cat back in the bag. Put the genie back in the bottle. Start telling people that, hey, you know, it's wrong to be anti-Semitic. You shouldn't be anti-Semitic. You shouldn't hate anybody. And on some level, these two things are not necessarily in conflict. It's not necessarily in conflict to question Jewish power and not be anti-Semitic, but a lot of people see those things as being overlapping. And so maybe he's saying, don't be anti-Semitic. Don't be anti-Semitic, to kind of get people to stop questioning or looking in that direction. And then you have Ben Shapiro, who's playing bad cop, by calling out Tucker Carlson, going after him, denouncing him, saying he's irresponsible. You know, it's just obvious. I don't think that's what's happening. I don't think there's like a coordinated effort. At least I don't think there is. But it's just strange. Like, what is it with all this, like, don't be anti-Semitic, don't be anti-Semitic? I mean, I get it. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be anti-Semitic. It's not right to hate people. But do we really need a 15-minute lecture about anti-Semitism and all this kind of stuff? And it's like, I don't know. Those are just my thoughts.
Other groups in the United States that are hated and have been under attack for decades. And that would include white men who did nothing to become white men. They were born that way. And just because you have a beef with a white man, let's just say Donald Trump, doesn't mean you get to punish all the rest of the white men in the country.
True.
And yet, our leaders, not just of our Congress, the executive branch under Biden, but of every major U.S. corporation,
of every college in the country, probably except Hillsdale and 2 others, every single one for more than 10 years has engaged in a systematic effort to hurt white men because they are white men. That is racism that is precisely as bad as anti-Semitism, but it is much more widespread and has been so far much more damaging. And my point is, if you said nothing about that, or if you encouraged it by, say, cheering on BLM, which was an anti-white hate group, and said so, then you have no moral standing to lecture me about bias. Period. Because all bias is the same. You are not allowed to hate people based on their bloodline. We do not believe in blood guilt. We reject blood guilt. That's why our justice system is just.
Here we go.
That's why our religion is just. Every person has the possibility of transformation.
True.
Paul is wandering around. Saul of Tarsus is wandering around murdering Christians.
Here we go with Paul again.
Then he decides, well, I'll walk to
Syria. I swear he's given the speech like 10 times
and he's been on the road
already.
by Jesus, who changes him, and in one day he becomes the most energetic church planter and apostle of Christianity. In one day. He went from enemy to leader in one day. And that possibility exists for every human being. Every human being. That's what our Christian faith tells us. That's also what our eyes tell us. There are no permanent enemies. There cannot be. And I would extend this to even people who attack me from this stage. They'll say, if we agree on something, I'm happy to be friends with you. You may have been mean to me one day. Well, I was mean to you too. That's all right. There is always the possibility that we can recognize we have more in common than divides us and come back together. There are no permanent enemies. There is no such thing as blood guilt, and collective punishment in this country, in the Middle East, anywhere on the planet is totally immoral. And if you want to know what makes America exceptional, it's that idea. And it's our job to defend it.
That's true.
So I guess I would just say to the many organizations now, and particularly this applies to the Anti-Defamation League.
Oh, okay.
Which has cheered on anti-white hatred for decades, has attacked anyone who said anything about it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. He's calling out the ADL for promoting anti-white hatred. That's a new one. I'm sure Ben Shapiro will be delighted to hear that. Ben Shapiro is probably like somewhere in the crowd or in the background, just like smirking, listening to this. This is hysterical. Tucker Carlson is hella funny, man. People don't give him enough credit. He's pretty funny.
Which has been one of the most aggressive cheerleaders for hate against white men in the United States, now trying to lecture the rest of us about hate. I would say it's enough to point out the irony of that. Come to our side, which is the side of humanity, and oppose all hate against all people. Say out loud, hate against whites is every bit as bad as hate against Jews.
We get it.
It's a universal principle, or it's not a principle. It's just a preference.
He's about to like
if it's not a universal principle, it's not a principle. It's just a preference. It's just identity politics. And we've had enough of that. And that's the one thing that will destroy this country, certainly.
That's true. That's true.
The only thing that will save it is the understanding that principles upon which America was founded apply to every single human being always.
Right. Jared Taylor and Nick Fuentes would disagree. You know, it's funny. I'm going to take a quick detour here. I wanted to actually make an episode about this, and I still might do it. We're going to come back to this, but now that he's talking about identity politics and blood guilt, I just want to pull up something for you guys real quick. This is actually interesting, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but this is related to what he's talking about. This is from American Renaissance, and if you guys don't know American Renaissance is a white nationalist publication, and I think the director or the editor, the person who founded it is Jared Taylor. Jared Taylor is a white nationalist. Now, this is from November 28th, and he says the American experiment has failed. Basically, he says, I hate it when people talk about the American experiment. Experiments can fail, and I don't like the idea of living in a test tube. And no one ever talks about the Chinese experiment or the French experiment. I hate even more all the jabber about American exceptionalism. It's this puffed up idea that somehow we have suspended the laws of human nature and got things wrong or got things right that no other country in history ever got right. Rubbish. In the current American experiment, the one that turned a promising white country into this multiculti mush, I hereby declare that experiment a miserable failure and a colossally, cynically hypocritical failure. And of course, he's saying it has nothing to do with principles, it has to do with multiculturalism. But this does beg the question. I mean, this is an obvious logical fallacy, but this is begging the question. He says, a once promising white country is now a multiculti mush. I hereby declare that experiment a miserable failure. By what standard? By what standard is it a miserable failure? Because what he's essentially smuggling into the premise is that America was successful because it was white, and it's now failing because it's not white, or it's at least it's not like a supermajority white. But what was the standard of success? What makes white successful versus not white unsuccessful? He hasn't established that. There's no evidence to support this claim. So this is begging the question. But aside from that, he says our rulers who profess to believe nonsense. Okay. And then he goes out about the Trump administration and all the things that they've done that are pro-white, but how despite everything that Trump has done that is ostensibly pro-white, it's not enough, and America will never be a safe haven for white people. And he says, even if J.D. Vance becomes president and he does a high-profile study on race differences and IQ, people might begin to grudgingly accept those findings, and it would end Negro worship, but Asians would become more pushy. J.D. Vance could also make legal immigration based on ability rather than family reunification to prevent more Hispanics from coming here. And even if J.D. Vance repeals the Civil Rights Act of 1964, it still wouldn't be enough. He says, that I believe is as far as the American political process can take us, Trump plus a few extra steps, all the while race differences in fertility rates and the die-off of my generation of boomers will continue to make whites a minority, and non-whites will continue to resent the people who built this country. So this is what we have here. We have a white identitarian, white nationalist saying that America is a failed experiment because there's too many non-whites here. And then he goes on to basically say, if you go on down here, by the way, I read this whole thing, and I don't know how people read this and like don't think this guy's a nut job. But he says, I have always believed that when there are enough of us, the pieces of the puzzle will come together in ways we never thought of. They say only about 30% of the colonists were revolutionaries, but that was enough to fight the British Empire. I think we can get 30%. He goes on, he says, it's not just our ideas, our appeals to history, to morality, and to our common kinship that will persuade them. A devotion to our race is not something rational. It is a passion that springs from someplace deeper, someplace in our souls. Essentially, what he's saying is America, a once promising white country, has failed because too many non-whites are here. Whites are under siege from non-whites. They are being killed and destroyed in their own country. And in order to prevent that from happening, they need to embrace white identitarianism as an ideology and develop a passion for their race and become race loyal and abandon the American experiment. And by the way, this guy is growing in popularity, and Nick Fuentes, who is a Charles Taylor or Jared Taylor acolyte, is also one of the biggest progenitors of this particular ideology, which is not an American ideology whatsoever. There's nothing American about tribal, blood and soil nationalism. That's not what the founders were. In spite of the fact that they did believe in racial differences, that is true. They were not blood and soil nationalists. Not in the European sense. They believed in the principles of the Constitution and tolerance and freedom of religion. And of course, yes, that was limited at the time to white men and Christians, but still, they were not blood and soil nationalists. That is one of the things they wanted to escape. They were not religious nationalists. They were not Christian nationalists. They rejected this kind of base nationalism on the basis of ethnicity and religion, which is literally what was destroying Europe and getting
millions of people killed. But anyways, he goes on, he says, the better we are as white men and white women, the more our numbers will grow. Many times from this podium, I have likened our struggle to the great battles our ancestors fought against aliens. Of course, aliens are non-whites in this context. He says the Greeks at Marathon, and the Greeks didn't even consider themselves white, so I don't know why he's bringing that up. The Battle of Tours, the Siege of Vienna, the Afrikaners at Blood River, and the Afrikaners fought against the British. I don't know, this is weird. He says, we must never forget that each of us has the blood of heroes in his veins, but all those victories will amount to nothing if we fail this fight, the fight against non-whites in America and in the West. He says, and this is what's really strange to me. He says, I envy the simple choice our ancestors had, kill the enemy or die trying. If the choice were that simple, every man in this room would do his duty cheerfully. So is he not just like fantasizing about genocide? Is he not just like fantasizing about a race war against non-whites in this sentence? I mean, listen to what he says. He says, we must never forget that each of us has the blood of heroes in his veins, but all those victories will amount to nothing if we fail this fight. Many times from this podium, I have likened our struggle to the great battles our ancestors fought against aliens. I envy the simple choice our ancestors had, kill the enemy or die trying. If the choice were that simple, every man in this room would do his duty cheerfully. What the fuck is this guy talking about? These are the kinds of people who are now gaining currency, not in the Republican Party, but on the right wing. This kind of blood and soil nationalism, the mythologizing of white people and the white race. And this is what's so confusing to me. It's like all of this racial mythology, this racial mythologization, this like turning race into a religion. I hate it so much. It's the most disgusting thing on the planet. I hate it with every fiber of my being. I hate it when black people do it. I hate it when Tariq Nasheed does it. I hate it when Dr. Umar does it. As if there's like this special Gnostic, romantic idea about Pan-Africanism. It's ridiculous. It's bullshit. All of it is bullshit. And it's bullshit when white people do it too. And I hate this shit. But this is the kind of stuff that gets popularity in this country, or at least it's gaining popularity. This is the shit that white men in my generation believe in. And no disrespect to the white people who are watching this, but you guys got to understand my frustration as the descendant of slaves and Salvadoran immigrants who got here in the 70s, early 70s. It's like, why am I hearing this in my own country? You know, it's just like this kind of shit is sickening. He goes up here, and this is the most ridiculous part about it. Like, these people live in an alternate universe. You got to listen to this. He says, no matter what happens, the United States can never again be our home, and that will become clear to millions more whites every single year. There will be open calls for solutions that sound radical, even unthinkable, today. More and more whites will understand that we must have a place that belongs to us, and that place cannot be the entire United States. So what do? Well, today there are about 140 million non-whites in America. Of that number, illegals are what? 14 to 16 million. They can be deported. Bang, gone. Another 22 million are foreign-born, but have some kind of legal status. Some would be hard to deport, but let's assume they all go. That still leaves 100 million non-white citizens of the United States of America. We have a strong moral case to ask them to leave. We built this country, and up until the 1960s, it was unquestionably ours. Do you hear what this guy is saying? He's saying we have a moral case to ask 100 million non-white people to leave the country. A moral case. So you have a moral case to ask hundreds of millions of people or tens of millions of people who are living here peacefully, abiding by the law, have families, citizenship, business, in some cases have been here for multiple generations, love this country, in some cases have served this country, and all of those people have to go because you have this moral claim about wanting an ethno-state? Do you know how sick and retarded this sounds? It's so stupid. And it's this false it's this false equivocation between demographic majority and ownership of the country. What binding legal document unless you're going to make an appeal to mythology like tradition or genealogy or God, by what logical or concrete metric does this country belong to one race? This country doesn't belong to white people. It belongs to Americans, but moreover, your private property can be repoed by the government. So nothing here is really yours. Your house, your car, everything you have can get repoed by the government if you violate the law. This is a nation of laws. He says, it was only through a series of tricks, blunders, inattention, and cowardice that we set in motion our own dispossession. And he said all of this started in the 1960s. Does he not know, like, the Hart-Celler Act passed with like a 76-18 majority in the Senate and like a 320-69 majority in the House? Bipartisan support? What is he talking about? An accident. An accident? This was years in the making. And a supermajority in both houses or in both chambers of Congress supported this legislation. In what world was this an accident or a blunder? Who reads this and takes this shit serious? It was a colossal mistake, and millions of non-white foreigners took advantage of our mistake. By all rights, they should go. By all rights, they should go. What the fuck are you talking about by all rights? Based on what? What is the principle? Once again, he's begging the question, by all rights, they should go. He's saying because they're non-white, they have to leave. What's the principle for that? Based on what evidence? Once again, begging the question. He's assuming because this country was majority non-white, or it's ours in some abstract metaphysical sense, that they have a moral claim and a right to expel other people. Once again, what moral principle is that based on? The way these people talk, it's like they fantasize about genocide and they fantasize about race and race wars and all this kind of shit. These are the kinds of people who are going to kill our country. I shit you not, literally. And these people are gaining popularity. And this is from, I mean, this is like an excerpt from a speaking conference that he did on the 15th of November of this year. But I was reading this morning, and I was contrasting it to a piece that Vivek Ramaswamy wrote in the New York Times yesterday. And, you know, this difference between America as a blood and soil nation or a creedal nation, if we don't address that and we don't sort that out, this country's going to go to shit. And this it's going to cannibalize itself. Anyway, so I just read stuff like that, and it makes me very, I don't even want to say weary or concerned. Like, I'm not worried about, I think the vast majority of white people do not share this opinion. Like, the vast majority. Like, yes, they don't want mass immigration. I don't either. They don't want like major demographic change in such a short period of time. I also agree with that. That's like a sensible position. They want to shut down the borders. I do too. But when we're talking about forcing 100 million people out of the country because you have like this abstract moral claim, based on what? On what grounds? This is just like, it's the most insane thing I've ever heard. And these are the kinds of people who are gaining steam on the right. Very, I don't know, very concerning trend. So at least Tucker is counter signaling them, but I don't know.
America was founded to apply to every single human being always.
That's why this talk about universalism and America being a universal nation and America being a creedal nation and human rights and individual rights, it's like all that sounds good. But when half of your movement consists of people who want to remigrate and dispossess or deprive millions of people of their rights as citizens, if that's like now going to become like a mainstream right-wing view, what even is this? What even is the point of this movement or aligning yourself with these people? That's why I don't take sides in this. Like, yes, I support the Republican Party generally. I think the Democrat Party is way worse. Like, obviously, especially when it comes to immigration and foreign policy. Well, foreign policy, it's kind of horrible either way you cut it. But especially when it comes with
or especially when it comes to immigration and law and order, I'm with the Republicans all the way. But like we got to do something. I mean, I don't think there will be like a top-down push for an ethno state not anytime soon. You know, that's completely, I think that's like a fantasy world. But the fact that these ideas are spreading on the right and becoming more popular and gaining more currency, that's a concerning trend. That's a trend that people need to be on the lookout for. You know, that's what I'm saying with all this stuff about universal values and individual rights and human rights. Like when push comes to shove, people don't care about those things. You know, a lot of times people don't care about those things. And they will resort to tribal, racial, ethnic identities and motivations, and basically suspend any kind of civic or, you know, national identity. So anyways, this is just something that people should be mindful of. So I'm glad that Tucker's saying all this. Sometimes it feels like a lot of this stuff falls on deaf ears.
So I just want to say that by way of saying that I'm not just situationally opposed to anti-Semitism, I'm actually opposed to anti-Semitism. And I hope that the ADL will join me. I'll send them money, by the way, if they come out against hate aimed at anyone and everyone. I hope they will. But let me just say something more broadly about where the conservative movement, whatever that is, the people
and what's even more insulting about it too, and I'm sorry to go on, but it bothers me. You know, I had ancestors who were slaves, ancestors who were Native Americans, ancestors who fought in World War II, Vietnam, the Civil War. And this fucking cocksucker, because he's white, thinks he can come up to me and say, "Hey, buddy, do you think you can please get the fuck out of my country?" Like, who does this? And he thinks that's based on some kind of moral virtue. It's just the audacity. The audacity is insane.
For Trump, the Trump coalition, and the supposed civil war going on within that group.
Like, will you renounce all your privileges as a citizen? It's like our grandparents, or at least on my dad's side, our grandparents immigrate here and they wait 10, 20 years to get citizenship, and they go through the process and they swear allegiance and they sacrifice everything to start a life in a new nation, and they follow the law and they bust their balls for 50 years to take care of their children and give them a better life in a better country. And this guy's going to say, "Hey, buddy, do you think you can get the fuck out of my country so we can make an ethno state?" It's like, these people are high out of their minds, literally insane. I can't stress that enough. And these people are gaining currency because, once again, people suspend their reasonable and cooperative faculties once tribalism is inserted into the equation, because there's like this friend-enemy distinction that's based on race. That can't be reconciled regardless of citizenship or rights or values. It's just, you're my enemy because you're a nigger, you know? So anyways, that's basically where this movement is going.
Real. I think it's fake. I think it's totally fake.
Maybe that's
I don't think, and I've had cause to
I don't want to overreact,
think a lot about this because
it's gaining currency. I don't know what
I've been unwittingly involved in the proxy war. There are two things going on here, and I'm not guessing. One is jockeying for position post-Trump. So Trump created this amazing coalition, bringing in people who had never voted Republican before but were very enthusiastic about him. And that coalition took over the most powerful government in the history of the world. So there's a lot at stake here. And so the question becomes, who gets to run it after? Who gets the machinery when the president exits the scene? And there are a lot of people in Washington, maybe even in this room, who aren't quite sure what they want, but they know they don't want J.D. Vance. Okay? And so the attack, and you heard it from the stage tonight, there's someone here who's a very bad man, and he's friends with J.D. Vance. Could be me.
Who said that? Ben?
I am sad about being used in a proxy war over politics in which I'm not involved in any level. I'm not an advisor to anybody.
Oh, give me a break.
But I just think I should say that out loud.
That's
okay?
such a lie, Tucker. We all
there
know
are people who are mad at J.D. Vance, And they're stirring up a lot of this in order to make sure he doesn't get the nomination. So this is true. So this raises the obvious question, which is, why are they mad at J.D. Vance? Such a nice guy, which he is. They're mad at J.D. Vance because he is the one person, and things could change, of course, but right now, who really kind of buys the core idea of the Trump coalition. Now, what is that idea? Ladies and gentlemen, anyone know? Anyone know? America first. It's America first. It's really simple. Which I notice some people are pretty anxious to retire that phrase. Remember when they told us? That's a bigoted phrase. Really? It is. And then they just decided to ignore it in favor of MAGA, Make America Great Again, which I'm obviously for. But how do you make America great again? By putting America first. Now, what does that mean? I'll be more precise. It's not a complicated concept. It's a really simple concept. The U.S. government, the largest organization in human history with the most well-funded military in history, ought to, in all the decisions it makes, put the interests of American citizens first. That's it.
Right.
Oh! That's creepy. Sounds kind of fascist. You're going to invade Poland now? No, just the opposite. In fact, the original America Firsters were kind of against wars, and the current ones are too. Actually, it just means what it sounds like. The government ought to serve the people who pay for it, who elected them, in whose name the business of government is conducted. That's all it means. Now, there are two things to know about this idea. The first is, almost everyone's for that. Like, what percentage, if you polled that idea in the supposedly fractious Trump coalition that's in the middle of a civil war, what percentage of people would disagree with that? Well, a few. You know, people whose names you know. Well, that sounds like America only. No, it's not. Just America first, simple. But like probably 95% of Trump voters would be for that. And I bet you like probably 70% of people who didn't vote for Trump would be for that. And if you calmed down and explained it to them, probably like 90%. Why? Because it's self-evident, like most true things. And moreover, and think this through for a second, there is no other legitimate rationale for running our government.
That's true.
We have self-government. This is a democratic republic. It exists for our benefit. The documents are written that way. The point of the American Revolution was to make that point. And so if you're not operating the federal government on behalf of U.S. citizens, you're illegitimate. You actually have no right to rule.
It's true.
Period. And if you disagree, tell me what the other legitimate justification is. Oh, because my friends or people I agree with or in my, interest group or, no. The government must, this is non-negotiable, operate on behalf of American citizens. So once you realize that that's the statement at the center of the debate, it all becomes pretty clear. Really clear, actually. It's not an ideological debate. There's nothing ideological about that. I've got all kinds of kooky ideological views.
Right,
I love Knowles' list of all the views. I probably had most of them in my long and varied life. I have fewer now. I just kind of want to see a good faith effort to improve the country. That's it. And I'm ever aware that I'm not exactly sure the right way a lot of times. Are tariffs the best way to help the country? I don't know. I hope so. Not an expert. All I really care about is that the people in charge care. That they love the people they lead. That is the first and most important requirement of leadership. A father who loves his children may make mistakes, probably will, inevitably will. I did. But if he loves his kids, he'll do a pretty good job, and they'll be fine. An officer who loves his men, he can't control the battle, but they'll do better than the officer who doesn't. The president who truly loves his people will, over time, tend to make wiser decisions on their behalf. But the leaders who don't care at all, they'll destroy your country.
That's true.
And that is absolutely what we've had.
True.
That's, by the way, not noted.
Is he talking about Trump?
As an effort to blackpill you.
or an effort to discourage you or convince you you have no agency or control. You have a lot of control. If you just
This little cat fight between him and Ben Shapiro is so funny. It's probably the most entertaining thing about this, besides all of Tucker Carlson's mannerisms, which are also hysterical.
change the government. Good. But if you want to know what the debate is going forward and what your job is going forward, it's holding your leaders to that very simple standard.
Put America first.
Not on tariffs or any of these specific policy questions necessarily, but on their motive. Can you look me in the face and explain to me why the thing that you are doing, the money you're appropriating, can you tell me why that helps our country and our people? Tell me how. And if you're doing the whole shut up racist thing, then I have a right to question your motives, actually. Why can't you answer the question? Why can't you answer that question? Why do you have to imply that some college kid is like some kind of Hitlerite or something because he's asking about an event? Like, what? By the way, it is okay to ask questions. And I thought that was like the whole reason we were.
Yeah, that's kind of what Ben Shapiro was doing. Why are you asking that question about the USS Liberty? What's your agenda? Yeah, this catfight between Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson is it's something to witness. Although I think I'll be real here. I do think all the momentum is with Tucker. I think that the free market, low taxes, Constitution form of conservatism, I think those days are over. I think people want something more potent. Something more potent. Something that'll take us to new heights, you know, a true cultural transformation. I don't want to say revolution because, you know, cultural revolution has a bad connotation, but a true cultural transformation beyond the status quo, which, let's just be real, that's what Ben Shapiro represents. He represents the conservative neocon status quo. That's literally what he is. That's been his ideology since he started doing politics. So regardless of what he says, regardless of if he, I don't know, lands some jabs on Tucker and, you know, maybe wins this battle, he can't win the war. He can't win the long-term war. There's just no way. No way. Not in the post-Trump era. It can't happen. There's no going back after Trump. It won't work. It can't.
We're against the left.
The culture's changed.
They're not going to force you to get up there and make ritual denunciations because this isn't my religion, it's politics. By the way, your politics do not trump my love for other people. I remember my brother once said, I have one brother who's my best friend, and he once said something lunatic, as brothers do. And I remember all these reporters, one from the Washington Post, which used to be a newspaper in Washington, calling me and being like, will you denounce your brother? I said, son, if my brother went on a drug-related murder spree, I would not denounce him. What? Are you for drug-related murder sprees? No, I'm for my brother. And nothing will ever make me not for my brother. Now, I'd probably tell him no more drug-related murder sprees for you. I'm not for that. I'm not for a lot of things, actually.
That's an odd example.
But I will never, ever denounce people I love to satisfy the mob. Right? I mean,
yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy. So as you think through, like, what should this movement be and what side should you take on the conservative civil war? You already know the answer. You're on the side of America first. And if they can't tell you why it's America first, you just won the argument because they don't have one. Shut up, Nazi is no different from shut up, racist. It's a little more annoying, actually. And I would just say this, too, because the passion is real, the anger is real. I feel it sometimes. I try not to get involved, but somehow I keep involving myself. And I try not to read the internet because I don't feel like it's good for my soul. But, you know, more addictive than cigarettes. I quit cigarettes, not Twitter. I think I'm going back to cigarettes and giving up Twitter. Whatever, I don't want to burden you.
I had to give up Twitter.
Not kidding, actually. But anyway, the point is,
what a cesspit that place is.
You need to remember, if you're a Christian, and I think there are a lot of them in this
wasteland.
that Jesus makes demands on you and holds standards for you that are very different from those, as my friend, close friend, Russell Brand so beautifully explained, they're very different from those of the world, which really is controlled by Satan. It's hard even to say that because it's so dark, but it's also so true. So don't be surprised. When Jesus sends out the disciples, one of my favorite passages in the whole New Testament, when Jesus in Matthew 10 sends the disciples out, he's just picked them like 10 minutes before. He's like, all right, I want you guys, road trip, no money, no clothes, no staff. And by the way, you're going to get flogged. You're going to get beaten with whips and arrested. I'm sure they're all thinking like, what? I thought we were the winners here. And when that happens, like, don't worry about what you're going to say. The Holy Spirit will speak for you. And I'm like, I just can't get over the blasé way in which he just tells them the world is going to try and kill you, which, by the way, it did. I think all of them end up getting killed. And that's just the baseline. We're promised that. It's a fact. You get up and give a speech about Jesus. You talk about Jesus. You try to live out his commands. You're going to get attacked. Okay, we know that. Don't whine. Here's the pitfall. Here's the trap, is becoming hateful yourself. And I sincerely believe that this is a spiritual battle. And I'm not saying everyone who disagrees with me is on the side of evil. I don't think that. I think I'm often wrong. I know that I am. But I do think that fundamentally, this is light versus darkness. I do. And darkness is characterized by rage and division and chaos and confusion. And light is God is characterized by the opposite of those things. And I've noticed this. There are attempts to make people hateful. One of the reasons people scream insults in your face is to provoke a reaction from you and make you hate them.
This speech is low-key incoherent. Like, I like the energy, I like the sentiment behind what he's saying, but this is like low-key incoherent. I'm gonna just be real. Platforming, Nazis, Jesus Christ, the world is controlled by Satan. Blood guilt, everybody is, individual and should be assessed on that basis. Like, he's taking me all over the place. This is really like this speech is like giving me whiplash.
You to hate them. They want you to become what they call you. Why? Because evil feeds on hate. That's why. So don't participate in that. And the way that I try to keep myself from becoming what they say I am is by remembering that I am, on the most basic level, no better than my persecutors. I am no better than my persecutors. And that's why I'm commanded to pray for them. Because we have all fallen short of Jesus, period. And I'm reminded of that every day in the structure of the Lord's Prayer, where we first are told by Jesus to ask for forgiveness for our sins before we start diagnosing the plank in our neighbor's, or in the speck in our neighbor's eye. The whole thing begins with, I'm a pompous douchebag, I'll admit it. That's essential. It's essential. We are called to be righteous, but not self-righteous. And we're also called, and I have to say this before opening it up to your hostile questions, we should also be very on guard against people who try to leverage the Word of God, the words of Jesus, for political ends. That is a dangerous thing to do.
People have been doing that.
I don't want to do that.
People have been doing that in the Republican Party fucking since I don't know when. Since the sky was blue.
And I attempt every time, this is all sort of new to me. I'm so obviously not a great Christian that it's not like a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I want to be like him. But there are people, particularly Christian ministers, I have noticed, who are preaching a political message and pretending that it's the gospel.
Right.
So let me just say, and I think my theology is right, I'm hardly a theologian, God is not on any country's side. Certain countries can decide to be on God's side, and that is true for people too. Okay? God doesn't have a partisan affiliation, he doesn't have a nationality, and if someone is telling you otherwise, that is just not true. It is not true. And I would also call your attention to the very obvious prohibitions in the New Testament against killing the innocent. We are not, as Christians, allowed to kill the innocent.
What is he talking
period.
about?
We are not. And
Oh,
you
he's talking
see
about war,
elaborate
I guess.
arguments on behalf of doing so or ignoring it. Oh, that always happens in war. Well, you're right. One of the reasons I'm not that into wars. But when it does happen, unavoidably, we have to say that's wrong. We have to say that. We have to acknowledge that was wrong. And I'm sorry for the extent to which I participated in it. Forgive me. Because killing people who committed no crime is immoral. It will always be immoral. And people who do it will be punished for it. And nations that endorse it will be punished for it. That's a fact.
True.
And you are seeing now a very intense effort to convince you otherwise. Oh, it's fine. They deserved it. Really, did their children deserve it? If a man commits a crime, do we kill his kids? I don't care if it's in Minneapolis or Gaza City. No, we don't. And if we do accidentally, we say, I am so sorry that we murdered someone who did nothing wrong, because it is murder. And to see Christian pastors make excuses for that is one of the most, and that's not a partisan question. That is not a political question. That is the only question that matters. Do we have the right to murder people? And the resounding answer that Christianity provides us is no. I don't get into the whole debate, I didn't even know the terms, dispensationalist, or whatever, replacement. I'm an Episcopalian, okay? I don't enter these debates, or was. My theology is super simple. I like the Beatitudes. Read them yesterday. I actually think, was it Michael reading them, some of them here? I think any honest person would say it's the essence of the Christian faith. And killing tens of thousands of children and then making excuses for it on behalf of a foreign government is not in there. It's antithetical to that.
It's true.
Sorry. It doesn't make me a hater. It makes me the opponent of hate. So now that I've alienated most in the crowd with my staunch position against violence, and power worship and money worship, which are also prohibited. And we should also keep that in mind. And in all of us is the desire to suck up to power and accumulate money we don't need. We're not allowed to. Sorry. Anyway, now that I made everyone mad, are there any questions?
Is Tucker gonna start his own Gnostic church following, his own Gnostic version of Christianity now? I'm being facetious, obviously. I'm being flippant, but that was a long, that was a lot to take in. That was a lot to take in about violence and war and nations and murder and innocent people and the gospel and Jesus Christ and power worship. That was a lot to take in. He was right about all of it. I give him his credit. He was right. But damn.
That I can answer.
I'm interested to hear what questions they ask.
Shout it, baby. I'll hear it.
Okay.
We've got questions.
Well, hold on one sec. I just called this lady up front. So the question was, what do you do if you're a conservative Republican and I assume other Republicans don't want you because you're an avowed Christian? Well, first you sit back and you think, how rotten has this whole thing become? If you can't say you're a Christian in a conservative group, if you can't say I'm uncomfortable with dudes marrying each other, or whatever, abortion, or the things that are prohibited by our religion, if you can't say that in a conservative group, it's not a conservative group. It's something else.
That's funny that he said.
My name is
Just
Madison,
blew up the whole coalition. Blow up the spot, Tucker. Let's go.
and I'm 12 years old.
12?
When I'm older, I want to be.
She's 12? There is no way this is a 12-year-old. Fuck no. In what universe is this person 12? What the? No. Am I mishearing this?
My name is Madison, and I'm 12 years old.
What? What are these people eating? Or what? 12? She sounds 12, but she looks like a grown-ass woman. What the fuck? She looks like a substitute teacher. Holy shit.
When I'm older, I want to be a politician. I'm a Christian.
At 12? At 12.
And I was just wondering, what are the steps I should take to...
I'm so sorry. I can't hear a word you're saying. I hear two of you at least.
Okay. My name is Madison, and I'm 12 years old. I want to be a politician, and I was wondering...
At 12, you want to be a politician? They need to let these kids get the fuck off the internet and just go outside. Why do you want to be a politician at 12? It's probably because I mean, bro, look at this build. I don't want to say anything too explicit, but like, there's no way this person is 12. And why is she dressing like a grown-ass woman? Like, she's got her hair slicked back, and she's got a cardigan on, and tight jeans, and like a tight top. Like, what the fuck is this? Literally looks like a substitute teacher. Like a 23, 24-year-old, newly married. I don't know if that's inappropriate to say. I really don't mean it in that way, but this person does not look 12. This is like some magic shit going on right here. This doesn't make any sense.
What are the steps I should take to pursue that career?
Don't pursue that career. Don't. Why are you... Tucker's going to be like... Tucker's going to lay into this. He's going to lay into that question and be like, why do you want to be a politician at 12?
Thank you so much. I heard that you're 12 years old. And so thank you for asking that question. I think you said, I want to be a politician. What steps should I take?
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, prayer would be the first one. Does God really want that for you? You seem so nice. Sorry, just kidding.
Right. Yeah, let's not ruin the innocent.
You know, I do think that we are entering into obviously a volatile period. Like, there's a lot going on. I can't even keep track of it, and that's my job. But I also feel like people who are telling the truth or trying, you know, it's kind of the best you can do is try. I said something yesterday in public that was totally wrong, completely wrong. And I hate doing that, but it was sincere. I thought it was right. I said, you know, whatever, I'm sorry. I feel like people who try to tell the truth are rewarded for it because there have been too many lies. So my bottom line advice, I could give you other dumb advice, but my only real advice is just tell the truth always. And if you lose, that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, Ashley, just don't touch me.
Am I good? Okay. Hi, Mr. Carlson.
What did he just put a nicotine pouch in his mouth?
I am Bo.
And my name is Annabelle.
And we were wondering
what you and your wife
Well, you were wondering what I do where?
what you and your wife do to strengthen your faith.
Oh, what I do to strengthen my faith. I'm always embarrassed to talk about my faith because it's so not impressive, but honestly, the main thing I do is I read the Bible every day, which I really enjoy. And I read a version of it called the NLT. And I'm not, you know, fluent in Aramaic or Greek or Hebrew, so I can't tell you that it's the best, but it has the clearest English.
Why are they letting 10-year-olds ask questions? Like, what is that? Who are the parents letting their kids ask these questions?
And as a writer and editor, I just love clear English, and I just think it's amazing. And it's just opened up all this stuff that I thought was opaque. And I wake up every morning.
Why do you have your 10-year-old, 9-year-old kid? I'm sorry, but why is your 10-year-old wearing a fucking MAGA hat at America Fest? Hearing Tucker Carlson talk about genocide and violence, and like hear Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson go back and forth, and like, what? Why is your 9-year-old kid wearing a MAGA hat? Let's just start there. Why is he in a suit with khakis and $200, $150 Oxfords on, and a tie and a lanyard and a MAGA hat? There's something about that that's just like, it's like a cult. It's literally like a cult. I would never let my kid anywhere near this shit. I don't understand what this is. This is like a different world to me. This is like a different universe. This is why I don't want to come anywhere near this kind of stuff. It's one big machine, dude. It's a political machine. It sucks the soul out of you. This kid is 12 asking to be a politician. Like,
really early, and I drink coffee with my dogs and I read it by myself. And then my wife comes down and we like talk about it.
Lord. Maybe I'm just too pessimistic and cynical. It could be me. Maybe they just like Trump.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and we do.
You know, and the kids just genuinely have a passion for it. But I just don't want the parents to be the ones who are facilitating that.
The American Israel Public Affairs Committee, commonly known as AIPAC, is them being in America and not registered with FARA like all other lobbying groups in America? Is that America first? Is it America first?
Dude, why is he stuttering? Maybe he's just nervous. Maybe I'm being too mean.
For senators, Congress, and even our president to take money from AIPAC?
Obviously not.
Is it America first to take money from a foreign lobby so you'll send taxpayer dollars to that country? You know, even the question kind of answers itself. Obviously it isn't. And that's not an attack on Israel. It's certainly not anti-Semitism, despite the efforts of many to claim that it is.
Why not just say Ben Shapiro? Please just say Ben Shapiro. He hasn't said his name one time, and it's like he's gesturing at it. And that's kind of what he was doing, like, you know, talking about, I'm not going to denounce my friends. Obviously, he's talking about Candace Owens. You know, we're not going to denounce Candace Owens because Ben Shapiro wants us to have principles. I don't know how I feel about that argument, but anyways, that's a separate point. But it's just like, just say Ben Shapiro. It's like, you're not going to get hurt. Mossad's not going to kill you. Well, maybe, but presumably they wouldn't. It's just like, why not just say Ben Shapiro? Just say, despite what Ben Shapiro says about criticizing AIPAC being anti-Semitic, it isn't America first to let AIPAC give money to our politicians. Just say his name and relieve yourself of this this burden.
It's just an obvious statement.
This
and
albatross.
The fact that people are attacked for asking the question. This is something that I talked to Charlie a lot about in his final months, because he was being attacked as an anti-Semite for asking that question. And we've memory hold that, but I was there, so I saw it. That's not the right way. Don't attack people's motives. And I have a lot to attack people's motives. I'm trying to remind myself, don't do that. Respond to what they're saying. Right? And so, no, of course it's not. And it's totally fine to ask about why a foreign government tried to sink one of our ships in 1967. That doesn't make you an anti-Semite, sorry. Those are Americans who died. And by the way, yeah, whatever. Anyway, but the point is, no, of course not. And that's why they won't have the conversation. And my point is, you know, I'm 56. My kids are grown. I'm just not afraid of you at all. I don't hate you or anyone else. I love this country. I'm going to be here till I die. I have an absolute God-given right to ask these questions. And I'm going to keep doing that. Period. And you can shoot me or put me in jail, but the questions won't go away. So, no, of course it's not. And that's why they respond with, like, rage and shame, because you caught them doing something they can't defend. Duh.
Hey, Tucker. How you doing? Thanks for taking questions. My name is Michael Lasher, and I've come here from Munich, Germany, to introduce you and others to my book, The Same Boat, A Guide to Heal the Divide. And it addresses the Cold Civil War that's got us so split, and the goal of it is actually to shift the the symmetry of the bell curve distribution of the political spectrum from what we had at the end of the 2024 election, 52% Trump, 48% Kamala Harris, when everybody in this room thinks it should have been at least 75-25.
Really?
So we have a cold
Okay.
civil war going on, and I want to ask you what you think we should be doing to try to solve it.
I'll tell you.
I created this communications tool to help bridge the divide, to argue our case.
So is he promoting his book or is he asking a question? Because you can't do both. Like, pick us. Like, oh man. I respect the hustle, but damn.
Those with whom we can no longer have rational political discussion.
It's a variation of what I said before, but I couldn't mean it more fervently. Orient the Republican Party around the single most popular and true message ever articulated by an American politician, which is put your own country first. That's why Trump got elected. In 2016, is why he's president now. America first. And don't think of everything in narrow partisan terms. That's a trap. Most people agree with that. Most Americans have more in common with each other than they disagree on. And almost everybody agrees on that. And almost everybody is willing to tolerate a good faith argument about how to get there. Except a few. And they're the ones running around calling everyone an anti-Semite. But everyone else is like, yeah, of course, that should be the debate. And they'll vote for you. They want that because they know they haven't had that. That's the fact. And what you're watching now, attacking millions of Americans because they're Muslims, it's disgusting. And I'm a Christian. I'm not a Muslim. I know there's a lot of effort to claim I'm a secret jihadi. I'm not. You should not attack people on those grounds. And you're seeing it from Republicans. What the hell are you doing? What you're doing is trying to divide the country. And I've lived through 50 years of this crap. All these fake race wars that they're always promoting. Oh, go hate each other while we loot the treasury. That's exactly what's going on. And most people are totally sick of that. So, yes, there is a possibility for a huge coalition of decent people once they free their minds from the traps set for them by others and realize, wait a second, we all want to make this country better. And the 15% or 30% who don't, okay. You know, good luck in Maryland or wherever you wind up. But the rest of us would like to fix it.
It's important.
Tucker.
Tucker.
My name's Harrison Tinsley. I'm a single dad in California. Didn't get to meet him until he was 15 months old just because I'm conservative. 1/2 custody. His mom tried to trans him. Long story short, I have full custody now. And it's a dream come true. Thank you. But it's a miracle, and praise God, because
Who the hell did this guy marry?
know so many dads that all have zero custody because of this. So Marjorie Taylor Greene's bill, Protect Children Innocence Act, just passed the House. Can we pass it in the Senate and finally end this gender insanity, mutilating, hurting kids? And will you interview me?
The last part, pull your face back from the microphone so I can hear you.
And will you interview me?
Am I going to interview detransitioned people? Is that the question?
No, me as a dad. And can we finally stop the mutilation of children with Marjorie Taylor Greene's?
Why do people do this? Why are you going to come up here and ask this guy if he's going to interview you? Who do these people think they are? Holy shit. The grift is insane. Just be normal. Don't promote your book. Don't ask for an interview. Don't be 12 years old. Don't be 9 wearing a MAGA hat. Like, just be normal. Like, just go up there and ask a question. Holy hell. It's like he started off good and then he asked for an interview. Like, holy, like, these people are ridiculous.
And can we finally stop the mutilation of children?
He's so
with Marjorie Taylor
confused.
Greene's bill?
Okay, I'm just going to say, when I was a child,
I hope he just ignores that.
We did a lot of bird hunting, and my father would always say, my brother and me, he'd say, Pop, you know, everyone wears earplugs, and he would just say, pull the filter off your Marlboro and stick it in your opposite ear. And that's actually, at 56, made it really hard for me to hear microphone questions. So you asked, and I'll just answer this and stop. You asked about Marjorie Taylor Greene's bill to ban the mutilation of children, which for some reason seems to have a lot of trouble getting through the House of Representatives, which is controlled by Republicans. And if there's ever a clearer example of whose side they're on, I can't think of it. Because at least on some of the foreign policy stuff, they can tell you, no, we have to be at war with Russia because Putin's bad. He's just bad. He's bad. Okay, got it.
We have to kill all the kids in Gaza because otherwise the Gazans will come here and kill us. Okay. What's the potential excuse for allowing the sexual mutilation of children? At that point, I'm like, I don't want to question people's motives, but I'm starting to wonder. And I do think it just gets back to you have to demand more from your members of Congress, from your leaders more broadly. You're not allowed to sell us out again, because if you keep doing that, people get radical and hateful. And then they get desperate because they realize their vote doesn't matter. And that's when things start to go sideways in a way that nobody wants. So yeah, if you can't even ban the castration of children, I hope there is a list, and I've been traveling today, but I hope on the internet there's a list of everyone who voted against that effort, and I hope that they are punished for it. I mean, they will be ultimately, but I hope they're punished in this life. Anyway, thank you very much.
I think that's it. I'm not gonna watch Michael Knowles' spiel. I'm not gonna watch this segment because this video is already 2.5 hours.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending AmFest 2025 Night 1. That is a wrap for the session. Please join us in about 20 minutes for a concert from country star Nate Smith.
Yeah, nobody wants to see that. Yeah, no, we're good off that. I mean, I don't know what to say there. It's kind of just a, oh wait, there's multiple days of America Fest? Oh yeah, and it's from Phoenix. Fascinating. Let's shift back to full screen here. So that's that. That is America Fest. I mean, the only segments that I really wanted to see was Erica Kirk, Ben Shapiro, and Tucker Carlson, and we got through all those. I wasn't going to watch Russell Brand. Absolutely not. And I certainly was not going to watch, or I wasn't going to watch Michael Knowles, but I certainly wasn't going to watch Russell Brand. So we got through the major meat and potatoes of it. I don't know what to say about that, honestly. It looks like this coalition is coming apart. I mean, obviously the coalition is coming apart. Let's just be real about that. The coalition is certainly coming apart. The question, though, is whether or not a new coalition can form from the ashes of the old one, and that is yet to be discovered. Ultimately, I think Tucker Carlson's America First slogan, that whole thing. I think America First. The populist nationalist right. I think ultimately that will reign supreme. It just has too much. It has a lot of energy. It has a lot of currency. People want change. People want a cultural transformation. There does seem to be like a malaise in this country politically, especially with liberalism, neoliberalism, and neoconservatism. And that's just with everything, with the foreign wars, with the administrative bloat, with the managerial class, with free trade, the sexual revolution, the transgender stuff, all those things, all that stuff. I think people are just tired of it. People want to shake things up, and America First is the way to do it. The only thing is, with America First, there will have to be some compromises just inevitably, because putting your own country first in like the most pure sense of the word, almost to like a proto-isolationist extent, kind of means you're reallocating your attention away from global special interests, foreign governments, private sector interests, and you're basically shifting your attention from those things onto the general population. And obviously that is not popular. Obviously that's not popular at all with the donors. That's not popular with donors. That's not popular with the ruling elite and the oligarchy. They want their interests met first. So the question really is whether or not it can be achieved. Can we roll back globalism? Can we roll back the influence of the billionaires and the, ruling class and the, kind of institutional elites? we don't know if we can win that battle, or if we'll have to compromise, or if we can truly get an America First agenda. That would be truly revolutionary. But you need resources. You need resources, you need institutional power, you need popular support, you need the right personnel getting into the government. I mean, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of chips that need to fall in the right places in order for something like that to be pulled off. And that could take, that could take time. That could take a lot of time. So we don't know if we'll truly get America First. Because like I said, all of this, at the end of the day, all of this is just for show. America First, Jesus Christ, don't kill innocents. It's like, yeah, okay. But fundamentally, it will always come back to what will change materially. Once again, who will end foreign wars? Who will cut back foreign aid? Who will improve affordability and cost of living? Who will bring back jobs? These are the sorts of things that people want addressed. Who is going to carry out a truly transformative immigration policy? Who is going to reform the refugee system? Trump is doing a good job on that, but ultimately, immigration, cost of living, affordability, foreign policy, healthcare, jobs. I mean, those are the things that people care about. All this other stuff, it's just for show. It's just drama. It's just like, it's for entertainment. It's for entertainment. It's for consent manufacturing. Who is going to bring home the goods? Who's going to deliver? And that's a war that will take decades, or it will take a long time. And we'll just have to keep pushing. Like winning back our country from the managerial elite, from foreign governments, from special power, or from special interests. Those sorts of things, those things don't happen overnight. So this will be a long battle. And this conservative movement, Lord, I don't know what happens here. I like Vance. I think Vance could be a decent option. I'm not voting for a Democrat. I think Vance could be a decent option. Mass deportations, locking down the border, continuing the Trump executive orders, continuing the Trump policy on DEI and affirmative action, those sorts of things. But whether or not that happens, it looks like, I'll be honest, this is the pessimistic view. The pessimistic view is, after Trump is out, people are going to have fatigue. They're going to have Trump fatigue. They're going to have war fatigue. They're going to have Republican fatigue. And people are going to want to vote Democrat. They'll vote for Newsom. They'll vote for some other hack in the Democrat Party. And then what do we get? DEI again, affirmative action again. I don't know. They seem to be backing off the tranny stuff. But it's going to be more immigration, more refugees. So that's me being pessimistic, right? We don't even know if Vance can win. And if this coalition truly fractures and breaks down, I don't know. This situation could get worse. So being optimistic, though, I think we get a true America First politician in there who's not owned by foreign powers and is not owned by Silicon Valley the same way JD Vance is. And that's me being optimistic, but we don't know. We'll just have to wait and see at this point. But anyways, that's all I have to say. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. I'll be back with another one probably sometime next week. But if you like the video, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, share. And until further ado, I'm out.